And then there was one left in this forward war. Brandon Thysse, you have won. I'm going to ask the obvious question that every other journalist would ask. How does it feel?
It feels very good, winning this tournament, coming from where we started to saying I was going to win this tournament to actually doing it. It feels amazing, being getting the WBA and IBO African titles. It's what we work for. We want to get to the top, and this is the start of it. So it feels amazing.
How does it feel for you as a trainer, Damien? Obviously, you know that Brandon wasn't the favorite name going into the tournaments, at least. The other guys were all golden gloves from the beginning. For him to get this win, was that overcoming something for you as well?
Definitely. Look, obviously the start of the career with Brandon, obviously when he joined me, it wasn't an easy road. There was adjustments that needed to take place. So they started to take place, and I could see he was heading in the right direction before we went into the forward war, and that's why we were confident. And I believed Brandon was going to win the tournament. I said it from the beginning, and when I predicted, I said that going into the first fight against Rourke, I said that the two junior middleweights would be in the final, and I said Brandon would knock out Rourke, and it happened. And then when we went into the prediction, I said to him, we've got the Allen key, and we did. We had the Allen key, and that's why Brandon produced the results. We were the underdogs. We knew we had tough fights ahead of us. We knew we had to be prepared properly. We had sufficient time to prepare properly, and that's why we got the results, because there's been a lot of growth in Brandon. And when we did our interview in March, I don't think, if you recall, I said to you that the fans of between Boyd and Brandon, I said that the fans would have a better road with Brandon because he's 26 years old. They've got a longer career with him. I think they will see a lot more from Brandon in that time frame. So I think the man won it. Rourke is still young. He's got a lot of time where he can still grow as a fighter, and I think his road will come. Whether he's going to stay at junior middle or welterweight, maybe he's still comfortable at junior middle. That's his decision. I think he would do better in the welterweight division. I think he'd be extremely heavy-handed if he went to the welterweight division. So that's still my belief. I like Rourke a lot. I believe he's got the ability to go further with his career, and I wish him all the best. For Boyd, look, I think there's one or two fights maybe on the local scene I think people would like to see. Maybe down the road another Trutter fight, because the first one was great. I think Rourke and Boyd would be a great fight. So I think he's got 2 or 3 local fights. Going further in his career, I don't think there's much for him. I think international would be a big step for him, coming from an MMA background. A lot of these fighters have spent 8, 10, 12 years just focusing on boxing, and unfortunately Boyd hasn't had that time, and he's not going to be able to get that time. By the time he does get to a point where he's been in boxing for 7, 8 years, he's going to be like 35 years old. So I think maybe 2 or 3 more fights for him in professional boxing, and then walk away from it. That's my feeling.
And Brandon, for you, what would you like to do next? There's a whole, you won this tournament, so there's no fighting anyone else in this tournament. That sort of shouldn't be in your plans. What do you want to do next?
I'd like to have a few title defenses, try to get a rating, maybe the WBA or IBO. And I would love to have some international fights. It's always a dream to go overseas and fight internationally. That's my plan. I want good, tough fights. I want to push myself to see where I can actually be, because I believe I'm not at my best yet. I believe there's still a lot that I can learn, and I want to get there. And I'm excited to see where the road takes me. And with my coach, I'm very excited. I know they have a plan for me, and I know they put in the work with me. They know what I can do, what I'm capable of, and I'm excited to see that part of me as well.
One thing that people might not have thought you were capable of was the shuffle. And I know a lot of people are talking about that shuffle and then the left hook that landed. It was elements of surprise, but you told me a bit earlier that it probably didn't come out the way you planned it, but it happened like that.
Yeah, after the fight, a lot of people were telling me about this, and in my mind, I wasn't even conscious of it. I didn't even know I was doing it. I think the third round was the round I was actually just getting loose, getting relaxed, getting comfortable, because I knew I worked hard for the fight. I knew I had everything I needed, and the third round is where everything just started coming together, and that was just a way of getting loose, getting relaxed, and enjoying the fight, because I have to enjoy what I do, And after that, the big shot landed, and I think it was a surprise to everyone, including me.
Damien, do you think that was an enjoyable fight to watch? I mean, obviously Brandon came out, did his thing, 3 rounds. For the fans, do you think they really enjoyed this one?
I think for your diehard fans, if they understand the fight game, I think they appreciate the game plan and the kind of fight we brought. Yes, for other fans, maybe not. Maybe they saw it as a bit more like not such a technical, clean boxing match. But that was never our plan. We're never going to go to see who's got the better boxing skills and to hit you with one, you hit us with one. That was never the plan. The plan was to bring a fight to Boyd Allen, and that's what we did. We knew that if we did that, it would take him out the game. Did I think we were going to knock him out in the chin? To be honest, I said to Brandon, he's been in the fight game. He's received elbows, kicks, knees to the head. And he's never been knocked out. So with all due respect to Boyd, he's got a great chin. And like I said, not many a fighter would get up from a shot like that. So he did well to get up from it. He has got a great chin. I knew we would stop him. I didn't think it would come in round 3, and I didn't think it would be like that. But yeah, Brandon whipped it out and let it go, eh?
Did he surprise you though? Because I mean, obviously you can see things in training camp, you can work on things, but there's always up days, down days. When it actually comes to fight day, you really see how someone's evolved. Did he surprise you on the day?
Not at all, because I knew that the growth was there throughout the training camp. I knew what he was working towards, and he just put it all together on the night. And I knew he would, because he'd worked so hard for it. You know, it was an 8-week training camp. We worked hard, and it was a 16-week training camp because we prepared for it in March. So it just gave us more time to work on what we had worked on, add a few other elements to Brandon's fight game. And I knew he would perform well. I was more interested to see what Boyd was going to do and what Peter was going to bring to the table. But it didn't disrupt us in terms of what we were trying to apply. The fight just fell into the way we wanted it to fall in, and that's because Brandon brought the fight.
And I wanted to ask the same thing. I mean, do you surprise yourself nowadays when you get in there? Obviously, at the beginning of the tournament, as I said before, earlier in the piece, you know, you weren't the favourite to win this tournament. Or maybe in your camp's mind, your mind, you know your ability. But to the fans, you know, that you surprise them a lot. Do you surprise yourself?
In the fight, not so much. Cause we train hard for what we want to do. You know, we have a game plan. We have a mindset of that we're going to go into this fight, and this is what we have to do. This is the job. You know, so. In the ring itself, I don't think of it as I'm surprising myself. I know what I have to do. I know what I'm capable of doing. So, yeah, I think for the fans wise, I think I surprised some of the fans or some of the people that don't believe I could have won this tournament or so on. But yeah, all I know is I know what I've done. I know what the work I put in, and I know what I have to do on the night.
I want to dispel a few myths because fans and public, they're always like commenting and so forth, saying, well, Brandon's got to fight Emmanuel Colombo now. He's got to go and, you know, fight the best of the best in the country. You can't do that. They're in the same stable.
Sure.
Is that purely your stance on this?
100%. I think it's reckless and it's stupid as a manager to do that. And I think it's dumb as a trainer as well. Why would I want to have 2 of my top athletes fight one another and at local level? Sure, different story. If Brandon's IBF world champion and Emmanuel's WBO world champion, or they're both world champions, and it gets to a situation where we want to unify, then we're talking at a different level, you know? And that's when I sit ringside and I watch the fight. But for now, why do I bring 2 of my best athletes, 2 of my future stars together at local level? I think it's careless and I think it's stupid. They both have great potential, and I think they can both become world champions. I think with Colombo's age now, I think he's a little bit closer to a world title shot. I think Brandon's about a year and a half behind Colombo. So I think we're going to get to a point where we're possibly going to see 2 Africans as world champions in the same division, and I think that's great. So why kill that dream, or why kill that road just to give people something they want to see? It's the same as the Kevin and Makabu fight. Everyone wants to see it, but it doesn't make business sense for us. We're not scared to fight Kevin. We've got nothing to gain by fighting Kevin, to be honest. No disrespect to Kevin. He's also young. He's still got more time in the career. I need Junior to accomplish big things, you know. I want him to unify the division with one of the bigger fighters out there and take it from there. So, yes, local fans will always say they want to see this and they want to see that, but there's always a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is both of my boys becoming world champions in the junior middleweight division, and growing their careers further.
Well, talking about bigger picture, do we fight again this year? Do you fight again early next year? I mean it's a bit difficult to tell with COVID, and obviously your manager's probably going to have the say on that. But ideally, in your mind, what do you want to do?
For now, I think there's not a lot of tournaments coming up and so forth, and I think the promoting is difficult as well. For a lot of the promoters, are hard to put on tournaments and so on. So I think the chances of me fighting again this year is very slim. So I think the best would be to maybe hopefully fight early next year, take a bit of time off again, just relax, get my mind, stay active, and then just see what happens early next year. Also, my manager, my coach, and everyone will take me on the right route, so they'll know who to fight and when to fight. So yeah, I think early next year would be the best.
Here's an interesting question. Does Brandon now become number 2 in Africa, or are there still other guys in Africa that he has to beat in order to overcome that?
So on BoxRec, if we look at the ratings, Colombo is number 1 in Africa. Number 2 is Wale Omotsa. I think he's from Nigeria. And then 3 is Brandon. So we need him to take over that position. So I have number 1 and 2, whether Colombo's 1 and he's number 2, or he's number 1 and Colombo's number 2. For me, I think I have the 2 best junior middleweights in this country. Going into the fight with Boyd Allen, I had already received offers overseas for Brandon to fight. So there's interest. There's interest in making bigger fights and international fights, which is good. There's still questions. Is Brandon going to fight this year? Maybe, maybe not. There's not much time left. If you're going to start getting ready for December, you need to start getting ready now. So let's see. I think more than likely he'll have a fight in the new year. It depends. There's also talks of 1 or 2 other things. Let's see if it comes together. But yeah, like I said, I think I've got the 2 junior middleweights, the 2 best junior middleweights in Africa, and I want them to go and shake the international scene.
This tournament for you, although it's you've won it now, but at the beginning when you looked at it, was it a make or break in your career? If you didn't win, if you lost in the semi-final, for example, where would your boxing career be?
Yeah, no, definitely it was. I looked at this tournament and I looked at my history in boxing, and I thought to myself, if I can't do this, I can't get past this, and I can't win this, where am I going in boxing? What am I achieving? I've been in boxing as a pro now for about 2-3 years now, so and I wanna achieve something great. And I knew this was it. If I put everything into this and I win this, I know I can go places. If I don't put everything in, maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe my discipline wasn't there then, or whatever the case may be. So this was definitely a make or break for me, and that's why you can ask my coach. I never missed a training. I made sure I was here. I put everything in. I wanted to win this tournament because I know I want to go places, and. That was just me proving to myself that I can do this and I can go places if I really set my mind to it.
Definitely. I think when you look at it, you've got to say to yourself, you can't say you want to accomplish something and then you don't give it your everything. So I think Brandon got to a point where he was in his career and he hadn't given it everything and he still wanted to accomplish something. And then when he joined me and the opportunity started to open up, he said to himself, if I want to make the most of this, I've got to give everything I've got. And that's what he's realized, and he's done that. So now I think he's confident in his abilities, and I think he knows what he wants. And I think he's fully invested in boxing. I think maybe before joining me, it was just something his dad had done, and he likes to do it, and he wasn't thinking as far as where he could possibly go. So I think that mind frame's changed, and I think that's what you're starting to see in Brandon from the ring as well, is that he really, really wants this, and he's now treating himself like a professional boxer, like a professional athlete, and that's why he's getting the results he's getting, because he's fully invested in it. And there's bigger things to come from him because he's going to dedicate himself to the sport in a full-time manner. A lot of people don't know, but before going into the Fort War, he was working for his dad, he had a job, he was boxing, he was coming to the gym, but he wasn't putting in everything he could put in. When this tournament came up, and I'd say about 3 months before that, he started really investing himself in this. And we are where we are now because of the hard work and efforts he puts in, and he'll tell you himself, never will he miss a day's training ever in his life again. He knows
Yeah, no.
He'll put everything he's got into what he needs to do in order to accomplish what he wants to accomplish.
Well, obviously accomplishments come in 2021 where you go international, you look to fight for bigger titles, bigger fights, everything's sort of bigger now. Lastly from you, shout out to all the people that watched you, shout out to everyone.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone who came out to News Cafe, came out to watch the fight over there, everyone who watched the fight at home, supporting us, giving us, all the love and support, and everyone who messaged me, wishing me well, I want to thank everyone there. I want to thank my coach and everyone who sparred with me and everyone who was a part of this, I also want to thank my sponsors, Quinton from Bridgewater, Logistics, Paul from Kinetic Trading, Shane, my chiropractor, and then also Tyron Infeld. Thank you guys for everything you've done for us. So, yeah.
And we need to thank Golden Gloves for the opportunity as well. They put a lot of money into this. They put a great tournament together. I think it got local fans very excited. It was a great concept, and I think people got the value for their money in terms of fights, and I think it was entertaining. And well done to Rodney and Jeff Ellis, and obviously Empress Palace. It wasn't easy to put the first tournament together now coming back after COVID, so I thank them for the opportunity, because it was right now, if there wasn't that kind of opportunity or there wasn't that kind of tournament, we would still be questioning what local fights we could mix up. So now we know who's the king in the junior middleweight division in South Africa, and we take it from there.